Hey guys, here we are, finally, the Wilson Family Podcast, where we're going to be focusing on faith, family, and business. We're finally here. I know it took a while for us to get here, but a little bit about myself. My name is Bianca. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a photographer of 13 years now. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful young ladies, 2 of them which are in college, and a 9-year-old lovely little one that I homeschool. I will be your host on this podcast along with my co-host I've been married to, which is my husband, for 19 years now. And let him tell you a little bit about himself.
So I'm Stanley. I am the COO of Everlasting Picture Studio. I've been with this young lady since I was 15 years old, and of course, I'm a girl dad.
Girl dad, yes. Okay, so I'm going to read you the purpose of our podcast. We will discuss taking leaps of faith, the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, marriage, and family. Our hope is to increase your faith, inspire you to go after your wildest dreams, and to always put your family first. I want to give a quick shout out to Charnel Designs. You can find her on Facebook and Instagram under Charnel Designs. She made these beautiful mugs and also the coasters. I don't know if y'all can see, but she makes all our custom stuff. She's amazing. Graduation items, stoves, a lot of the sporting events. She makes the jerseys, the shirts. Hit her up for anything you need custom. Stanley made our logo. And then also I have to give a special shout out to a 10-year-old.
Yes.
Her name is Lillian. Lillian made these beautiful earrings. Lillian makes all types of colors and shape custom earrings.
Yes.
Hit her up. She has her own website, guys. It's handmadebylillian.com. Thank you, Lillian and Charnel.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Here we are. Wilson Podcast. We're on episode 1.
Episode 1.
The title is I Quit.
No, I quit.
I quit.
No, we quit.
We quit.
Yeah, we quit.
Y'all heard it. We both quit our full-time careers in the federal government. I know we're going to get into this.
Everybody's dying to know.
So
why would y'all do something like that?
I've been getting messages like, do you still work? You still this and that? And y'all been seeing Stanley a little more often than you have been.
Yeah.
So we quit. So I have a question for you guys. Have you ever found yourself comfortable in an uncomfortable situation? Whether it be a job or a relationship where you constantly complaining, you're dreading going or dreading dealing with the situation, and you complain so much you actually get tired of hearing yourself complain. Have you?
I have.
I have too. I have. What was it in?
Man, my last job had me so stressed out. Remember, I used to call you complaining all the time to the point I didn't even want to go to work. And the alarm clock go off, I'm like, Lord, I don't even want to go to work today.
So he would call me on his lunch break complaining. He walk in the door complaining. He wake up in the morning complaining. You just...
Yeah, I took every break I could possibly take and still called you complaining.
Not that he was a lazy worker or anything of that nature. It just got to that point. We're going to give you a little background about both of us. Mm-hmm. I got in my dream career. I'm not going to say where, but I got in my dream career. I was a photographer. I'm not going to say a job because it was actually a career. So people know me that if I left this career, it had to be worth it. And it was with the federal government. So COVID hit. No disrespect to anybody when I say this. When COVID was kind of like a turning point for us. It was a good time. And actually, I know a lot of times people lost people during COVID. Fortunately, we did not lose anybody. But it was a time I felt like God set us down so we could hear clearly. A lot was going on actually just stopped. We had a moment just to sit still and get our thoughts together. So during COVID, our youngest was high risk. And my job requested I be in areas and so forth with people at the time, and at this time it just wasn't the time to be doing it. It was at the height of the pandemic, so I had to make a decision. Was it going to be my child's health or my career? So we prayed, we fasted for a while during COVID when it first hit. And I am a believer that God had to really make me uncomfortable. I had got comfortable in being uncomfortable. I was still saying, you know what, I'll just do this and I'll do this and I'll do that. And I found myself trying to still make excuses and still trying to make a way, and I was miserable. If it ever comes to anything, my kids come first. It was first my husband, first God, then my husband, then my family. So first thing we did was I resigned. And opened up a studio. I was doing photography for work and also after work for years. I've been doing photography 13 years. A lot of times people say, why don't you just do it full time? I was comfortable because I knew I had benefits and I was guaranteed to check every 2 weeks. It was guaranteed. But if God...
It wasn't a small check either.
No, it was a good size check. I ain't gonna lie. But If God gives you a gift, I tell everybody that I talk to or I mentor, if God gives you a gift, I look at it as like an actual item. If He handed you this and this is His gift from Him to you, and it's a gift, and say, hey, this is your gift, it's photography. What I was doing was taking my gift and I was sitting it up on the shelf, and then I would go do work for somebody else. Then I would come back and dust that gift off and play with it for a little bit. And then, let me go back and do this for somebody else, and then put my gift down. So He made it really uncomfortable me, to the point it almost felt like I had to be squeezed out of my job because I wouldn't move because I was comfortable in being uncomfortable.
It was a lot of times you would say, Lord, why? Why do I have to go through this and choose between my career and my child? And this is somewhere you always wanted to be and do the thing that you was doing that you loved the most.
Absolutely. All right, so Stanley, guess you can walk us through a little bit what you were going through, what made you finally make the decision to jump.
So at work I was dealing with some issues where I was being accused of things that wasn't happening.
How long you been working?
I have been working there in that department for about 6 years.
How long have you been working, period?
I've been working since I was 18 years old.
How old are you? You're not supposed to ask a man that? How old are you?
No, you're not. No, 38.
Alright, so think about this, guys, because I want y'all to understand how major of a jump this was.
Yeah.
Now, it was major for me. It was to the point I couldn't even sleep at night. Cause you remember I was up all night and I was praying, asking God to give me peace. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. The decision was so nerve-wracking. I knew I needed to leave. It was so bad, but I couldn't make the decision because I was okay with being comfortable because I knew I was still going to get a paycheck. And as for you...
I mean, I think for me, I was more worried because I was the breadwinner at the time, even though you was making good money once you got into this field, started doing photography. But I was like, man, I carry the insurance. What about the kids, car notes, house, mortgage? As a man, you always taught to provide. And so, and definitely in my family, like, a man don't work, don't eat.
That's right. They work on the Wilson side, y'all.
Yeah, that don't work on this side. So
sun up, sun down.
It took me a while to adjust, and I had got multiple signs from God that it was time for me to go, but I was refusing to leave.
So let me tell y'all, how do you know when the situation's getting really bad and it's time for you to go, you're still refusing, more stuff start happening, you won't sleeping?
I wasn't sleeping, being tired, exhausted at work because I wasn't sleeping.
Stuff started happening at your job like that was unheard of, and it was just like...
I mean, my people wasn't trying to work with me. They was making it very difficult. Yeah. For a whole year.
It was pretty rough. We're not gonna go into details.
Yeah, for a whole year I struggled.
So we're gonna discuss April 5th last year.
Yes.
April 5th last year. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard this big boom, and like 2 more booms right behind it. I jumped up out the bed, and I found Stanley on the floor in our bathroom, unconscious. That was another sign. Here we are. We've been talking about signs and how God got to make it uncomfortable, and signs kept coming. But the day before he fell out, he had a really stressful situation at work, and he was really worried. And stress can do what to your body?
Stress can make your blood pressure go up, your cholesterol, can make you fall out. It can make you have a stroke. Mm-hmm. For me, I had to go see a cardiologist, a neurologist.
Yes. Last year was rough, guys. We smiled every day and not like everything, but last year was definitely a testing season. He was out of work for about 4 months.
4 months.
But here's another time. There's been a couple times that God has literally taken him out of work, and it was times that we should have been pushing, and it was time to leave. And in those times, we should have been getting together, and we just were ignoring the signs. And he wanted to still work. I kept saying, Stanley, I think this is your time to jump in.
Yeah, that morning I was like, I'm still going to work. He was
guys,
like, no.
He was unconscious on the floor, and we came to. I'm getting ready to call 911. He told me I gotta go to work. I said, "Are you crazy? You're not going to work. We're going to the hospital. You're going to the hospital." But all he knew was to work. But like I told him, we care more about him than a paycheck. And I believe this was another sign, because since then, letting go and jumping, how have you been feeling?
Less stressful. I enjoy. We pray in the morning together because we have more time together. We read our Bibles together, and then we start our day. Yeah. I mean, as far as teaching Mackenzie, and I can cook breakfast for y'all every morning now, and I enjoy what we do, and we build it, and we become more closer like we was when we were kids. Versus, I'm always gone before y'all get up in the morning, and I just.
Well, family time for us is really important.
Yes.
Family time, with us now being 100% entrepreneurs on both our sides now, again, we're able to homeschool our youngest. We're able to do more family things. You see us taking a lot of trips a lot of times. We're able to use our trips for history lessons for our youngest. And some questions started to come to my mind about why it took so long for me to make that jump and also for Stanley to make that jump. Fear. Fear. So I looked up the definition of fear. The definition of fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. So fear. Fear is paralyzing. Fear will keep you from actually walking into your blessing. How did fear work with you in this situation?
I was so worried about not being able to provide and not be able to have insurance and all that stuff, and fear to me was, wow.
Yeah, he worried, y'all.
I worried a lot.
Yeah.
I worried a lot. I was worried about what my family would think more than anything.
Yeah, so family, Stanley quit. This is everybody
I
finding out.
quit.
He didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell anybody. This was
everybody don't understand the walk that you got to go, and everybody walk is different.
Right, and everybody's not going to understand your walk. So don't be
Right.
afraid to make your jump. And the worst, like I told him, that can happen is that we fall. But if we fall, we definitely can get back up. There's nothing. There's no like, oh my God, this is the end of it. Why not give God a chance? Take the limits off him and see where you can go.
Yeah, most definitely.
We learn to adapt to being uncomfortable. That's wrong. Sometimes you're in a situation like, Lord, it's really bad, but I'm going to stay here because this, that, and the third. But while you're still thinking about, if you have things keep coming to your mind, that is God giving you like a purpose or a vision. And we tend to ignore those because we just want to stay in this space where we are comfortable. So pay attention to things that keep you up at night, things that keep coming to your mind, things that God has put in you, gifts. And Stanley is definitely gifted. He's helping with me with photography.
Yes.
He can draw, as you can see.
Yes. I was fearful because the fear of unknowing is scary.
Yeah. That's the fear of unknown.
The
fear of missing out, the fear of not knowing what's around the corner.
Yeah, and see, we as people have to understand that God can see around the corner while we only can see what's in plain sight. So it made me, as a man, I was worried about everything. I was like, man, what if? And, Bible says that God would never leave you or forsake you.
Yes.
And he's always with you. So I could say it, but I wasn't practicing it.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, fear. I wanted to know how many times fear not showed up in the Bible, because when I read the Bible, I've read fear not, but I didn't know how many times. I read it a couple times, but did you know the Bible has fear not 365 times in the Bible?
365 times?
Fear not is in there 365 times. So what does that mean to you when you hear that?
So I sit here and I think about it. I mean, God is saying, fear not every day for a whole year.
Every day. That means fear not. It's easier said than done. We both right now are on a faith walk.
Yes.
I jumped when COVID hit, so I've been on this 100% entrepreneurship for a couple years now. But he just left, April?
April 15th.
Yes, April 15th. He resigned, and I didn't believe he was going to do it, guys, because he's been giving me the run around. And I was like, Stanley, let's do this. Let's just take the limits off, God. Let's just see what's going to happen. And I understand his nervousness as being the man of the house. And, sometimes we worry more about what people say, too. But I think this has brought us together more.
Spending a lot more time together.
Yeah, so are you still fearful, or how are you feeling now that you're not at work?
I'm not fearful now. I see God moving. I see him opening up doors. And I see him opening up doors that I wouldn't have seen him open up if I was still working.
Yeah. I want to encourage you guys. We're going to be very transparent on this broadcast or on this podcast. We're going to be very transparent. I hope you learn from our stories. You get something from our stories. If it's something else that you want to hear, you want to ask more questions, hit us in our inbox or send us a message, and we'll be happy to respond back. But we are going to share our personal stories and to inspire you, to let you know, like, take the limits off God. Trust Him. This has been a jump, but I can tell you, Stanley left on the 15th of April, and since the 15th of April, we have lacked nothing. We were worried, like, oh my God, like, he's losing. I'm not going to say how much he was making, but that was a huge part of our income, you know, and we were guaranteed that, and insurance and all that kind of stuff with a family of 5, you know, and health things going on, but God has truly made a way, but we had to take the limits off to see what He really can do. I was looking up some things of reasons why people wouldn't want to do, like, get him out of a relationship. This is not just mean a job, guys. So we're talking about whether it be a relationship or a job. Sometimes people stay in relationships. You ever seen somebody in a relationship be like, man, why are they staying in that relationship and they know it's not no good for them? What would be a reason you think somebody stay in a relationship?
They're comfortable.
Yeah,
they don't want to start over. It might be financial wise because they're comfortable financially.
Yeah.
They don't want to break up the kids in the house.
Yeah.
It could be anything in that nature.
So comfortable. That was I was getting ready to say. That's another reason why people, whether it be job, relationship, or etc., people don't move and when they're in uncomfortable situations. All right, yeah, because we get comfortable in routines. Like I tell you all the time, if anything was to happen between us, what? I am not starting over. I have got comfortable with. I've been with him since I was 15 years old. He knows what I like, when I want it, how I want it, and he knows. God's sake, he finished half my sentences. Like, if this took time, nobody wants to start over. So that is the reason sometimes people stay in relationships, like you said, because they're in routine. They don't want to start over. And starting over is hard. Yeah, like, you can talk about it.
I mean, if you had to start over, you got to learn that person, learn what they like, how they like it. Same thing at a job. If you're at a job, you got to learn new programs, new systems, how they operate. And you can't take what you did from your old job into your new job because they don't operate the same way.
Right. Say you've been on a job like 30 years or something like that, or say you've been on a job 20 years. I understand the jump. People are not comfortable, but if you have something that keeps reoccurring to your mind, I encourage you guys to go after it. Don't worry about nothing. Just do it. I'm not saying go quit your job tomorrow. Think about the process. Think about things that you've been hearing or you keep seeing, or things you've been doing on the side, things that really interest you and make you happy. Actually tap into you. Spend some time with you to get to know what you want. We only get a life. One life. And it's for you to live it abundantly and be happy, not to worry and stress yourself. Like in this situation, thank God he did not physically hurt himself.
Right.
That it was just that this situation happened. And I think that was the kicker for you. When you fell out, you was like, all right, Lord, this is it. So,
and we had people telling us, you know, that we should, like, hey, if God's trying to give you a sign of you being disobedient, it's only going to get worse.
That's the word, disobedience, guys. If you're disobedient, go ahead. And
we had somebody say to us, well, say to me that I could be hindering you from growing because I'm being disobedient.
Yeah, and it was that you could be hindering us, our family, from growing from disobedience. That means that God wanted to give us more.
Right.
And we weren't giving him the opportunity to give us more because we wanted to control the situation. We thought, oh, we're doing really good. We both work for the federal government. But what if he wants to give you way more than what you expect? Right. We were limiting him from taking us somewhere else. So we had to take the limits off. So I'm going to get ready to dial back on this podcast. But I want you guys to pay attention to our journey.
Yes.
We're going to try to post more often. You guys are watching the process. Like I said, I've been out now for 2 years, but he's just getting out in April. Watch how God moves. We will try to post or talk about more about our ups and our downs with entrepreneurship.
Yeah, and go live.
Yeah,
so
we're
you
going
can
to go
see
live.
what we're doing.
Yep, ask us questions. You guys already be hitting the inbox, so ask us questions. We're an open book.
Yeah.
I believe that God gives us tests and testimonies so we can share them. It's not just for us, it's to help somebody else. So if you're in a situation, you know, one thing I can tell you guys is pray. I did mean to say at the beginning of the podcast, everything we do is centered around God. So if you're not 100 with God, this ain't the podcast for you. Because everything's around God. He is the center of anything that we do.
Yes.
We do nothing without talking to him first, praying.
Fasting.
Yeah, fasting. All right, guys. So we're closing out this session of I Quit. I hope you guys got something from this. I'm going to leave you guys with a couple questions that I thought that are thought triggering. What has fear caused you to miss out on?
That's a good question.
Are you stuck because of the fear of the unknown? And lastly, what if your next blessing is wrapped up in your fear? That's a big one for me because I feel like we would have missed out on a whole lot. And I don't know what we missed out on because it took us forever to actually move. So, what if your blessing is wrapped up in your fear? So, here we go. This is the end, guys. Would you please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook page? It's going to be below. We're going to air every Thursday at 7 o'clock. So, please tune in. Our next topic is going to be...
Everything you need is in the house.
Is in this house?
It's in this house.
It's in you guys' house as well.
Yes.
So everything you need is in your
the
house. That's going to be next week. Same place, same time. You don't want to miss that one. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this podcast. Peace out. Have a good night.